Hey, everybody, I'm Jeff Pollard at solarpowerthepeople.org and Jeff Pollard 11 on Instagram. We have another cool interview. Sir, thank you for joining us. Who are you? What are you about?
My name is Joel Saltzman, and I am the CEO for Bluemangosurf.
Right, thank you for coming. Yeah, I did a video with Corky, and yeah, I want to hear your side. Yeah. What is it about? What do you handle? What is Blue Mango?
Well, when I was growing up, 12, 13 years old, Corky was one of my heroes. I grew up on the East Coast in Florida, and Corky was the man. And I always, loved watching, him surf and, his antics, his commercials, all of that. And later in life, I moved to California. I ended up meeting him. I actually met him in Mexico. I used to surf a break that he loves down there. And everybody used to say, "See that big yellow house over there? That's Corky Carroll's house." And
Oh,
I had never met him. And one day I think I was at a restaurant or something, and I met him. And to make a long story short, we became friends. And I used to go down there. I still do, but used to go 2 or 3 times a year to his house and go surfing with him and live the life of Corky, which is kind of a neat thing to do,
yeah.
and so that's what I did. And so we became friends. And I kind of thought that maybe, back then when he was a champion, they gave you trophies. There was no money. These guys sacrificed their bodies and almost drowned on ancient equipment, and they didn't get any money like these guys today. So I thought that it would be kind of cool maybe to put together a little business and see if we can monetize, his fame. And I thought there's other people out there like me that felt the same way, and apparently there is. And
Sure.
the other interesting thing is Corky knew that I knew my purpose, and he always respected purpose. Purpose respected him, but they weren't really friends because Corky was the Dana Point Mafia. Dana Point was where Surfer magazine was, and Hobie, and Clark Foam. So a lot of the industry was there, but in Hermosa Beach was the founding was Bing and Greg Knoll and Jacobs and Velzy. So it all kind of started here and there. So there's always been a battle. So those guys respected each other, never were really friends. Purpose said to me, I always liked Corky. He was always nice to me, but I could never beat him in a contest. So I later brought them together. They became friends, and we decided, hey, let's put something together and see if we can, market their stuff and have fun with it. And that basically is Blue Mango Surf. That's how this all started. We did it about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And recently we've introduced some cool, exciting products, and we're having fun with it. It's kind of
Awesome.
like a big ohana, a big family.
No, I love that. What are some things that we can look for when we're purchasing?
Well, there's a lot of neat stuff. We're doing a print on demand thing, which we recently discovered, which is cool because we can take any of Corky's paintings and put them on t-shirts, hoodies. Previously, you had to pay setup fees. It was a nightmare. But now we can put anything and everything on hoodies, on cotton. And one of the things that I really like, that I think is a fantastic gift idea, is we recently made a calendar, and Corky took his 12 favorite surfing paintings and put them on a calendar. I don't know if, actually, I don't know if you can see this, but I think this is the greatest gift idea. And the reason is you enjoy it every day, 365 days, and you're not going to toss it after 2024. But to give you an idea, these are the kind of paintings you can expect. So to get 12 classic paintings on a calendar like this, Corky, I can't get it this
No, we
straight.
could see it. That's awesome.
But anyhow, I just thought, for 25, 35 bucks, you get 12 Corky Carroll original paintings and a calendar, which you can use every day for a year. I mean, gifts, when you
Yeah.
look for a gift, you want something unique and you want something people are going to use. You buy a t-shirt, if you're lucky, they'll wear it once a week.
Yeah.
Here's something that you're going to use every day of the year. And most people will probably keep this just because the art's awesome. And
Yeah.
it's a collector's item.
Yeah.
But that's just one item. We got surfboards, we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got drinkware, We got all kinds of cool stuff. It's on bluemangosurf.com. If people want to see it, they can go to the Legend store. But really neat stuff, a lot of fun, and you know, Corky's painting away every day, and we're adding new stuff every day to the store. And anybody who wants this stuff should probably order soon if they want it before Christmas, because it is print on demand. We make it specifically for the user. They better act fast.
Yeah, everybody, you got to be quick because there's always the shipping and print. There's always those types of delays and stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so are you currently in the South Bay also?
I am. In fact, I think you are, and I'm surprised that we haven't run into each other. And I'm hoping that you don't know me by the back of my head in case I did take off in front of you, surfing. But, I'm in the Redondo Beach area.
Yeah,
So,
you stole my ways a few times. I didn't want to say anything, but
well, I apologize, and I'll run interference for you on the next set wave if I see you in the water.
no, that's great. The only reason why I bring it up also is just because it's always fun to meet somebody in the area and then talk about how, love to support Corky the Legend and also love to support you and try to, make this a family neighborhood thing at the same time. And so, I like doing that. Yeah, BlueMangoSurf.com. That's great. Is there like any fun stories, that you have of like you and Corky or just in general, or would you want to talk about anything that you would any enlightening issues that you've had with Blue Mango or something to kind of educate that entrepreneur? Those are fun questions I like to ask.
Well, there are so many good Corky stories that, I wouldn't even know where to begin. That's one of the fun things about hanging out with him is he's got all the stories, everybody in the industry. Obviously, he knows everybody.
Yeah,
So you hear a lot of interesting stuff. I would tell anybody if they love that stuff, and I know you do. Have you read his book yet?
I have not.
Oh my goodness. While we're at it, just happen to have one handy. This book is hysterical.
Yeah.
And there's stories in here. It's called Not Done Yet. He did this about, I'm going to say 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
But so it's pretty current. But some wonderful stories in there. And, for $20, that's another item that may be one of the best purchases you'll ever make. It's ridiculous, the enjoyment. I read it 3 times already, and it is just classic. But a lot of his stories are in there.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head if there's one that is PG rated that I could share with the audience.
I understand. No worries if not. I would love to take a look at the book or have people be directed there. Real quick, I do want to say that all people, anything that he has mentioned, there'll be links and everything readily available where you can slam all that stuff in this video. So that'll be in the bio and all that. So I do want to then kind of segue. You are a tech guy. You mentioned something called Dr. Wireless. I would love to tell us what that's about.
Well, I never had the surfing abilities that Corky and Purpose had, unfortunately. I did in my mind, but never had the skills. And I've been surfing since I was 12 or 13. So always wanted to do something in the world of surfing, but never had the ability to do so. Didn't have the contacts living in Florida. I ended up moving out here and got into IT. Always big with cellular phones. I was one of the first LA cellular agents in California, and did corporate cellular. And then I kind of morphed into helping people start businesses up. And these days, everything's going from brick and mortar to internet. So, you go to Nordstrom's and they've got a huge storefront and beautiful stuff in the windows. Well, when you're online, you don't have that. So your storefront is your website. So what we did is we build websites, or I don't do it anymore, but this is what I did. I built websites, offered unified communication services, which were like phone services, that made your company look much bigger than it was.
Sure.
You know, when you call a company and you get the, please listen carefully because our menu has recently changed. Press 1 for Corky Carroll, press 2 for Mike Purpose, press 3 for support, that kind of thing. So we would offer, you know, those, and you press 3 if you want to buy a surfboard, and then you hear a recording while we're looking for me or Corky or somebody to answer the phone. You'll hear a recording about why our surfboards are the best. And, you know, so this is the kind of services that we offered. And helping people start businesses and, you know, be successful. So I kind of thought, well, gee, it'd be kind of neat to start a business up, you know, with Corky, and just for fun. And initially it was just to sell some t-shirts. That was it. We just thought we could sell some t-shirts, but we found out people are more interested in the surfboards than the t-shirts. So we ended up selling a lot more boards. And the interesting thing was, Corky is a brilliant shaper, not shaper, but designer. He doesn't really build boards, but he designs them. Same with Mike Purpose. And I happen to be friends and know Jose Barahona, who's been shaping in the old Rick Becker factories. That factory's been there since 1961. I'm going to say it may be the oldest continuously operating surfboard factory in the world. I don't know that for sure, but I don't know anybody who's been in the same building that long. Well, Jose has been working in that building since 1984. His brother since 1983. His brother's the glasser. These guys are still in the same building, plowing away, have more experience than anybody I know in the industry, and kind of brought Corky and Mike. Well, Mike knows those guys and has worked with them for a long time because they work with Jacobs, and they were ghost shaping a lot of Jacobs boards. But what was interesting is we brought those guys together, decided to have them both jointly design boards and have Jose shape them. So we have Corky Carroll surfboards. We have Hot Lips designs by Mike Purpose. We brought back his label from 30, 40 years ago. And then we did something called Bluemangosurf Legends. It's a BMS Legends of Surfing. And that's the line with those two guys both collaborating on designs. So we have 3 surfboard lines right now, all kinds of clothing, and it's got much bigger than we thought it would. We're actually just now exiting the red and moving into the black, which is kind of exciting, you know. So, you know, kind of starting to make it happen all of a sudden. But that's really basically, so I'm phasing out of IT. I'm kind of retiring from that, but using my knowledge and skills from that and applying it to surfing. And I'm almost 70 years old, and I'm now in the surfing industry. So kind of stoked to get into the industry. I don't shape. I don't surf fantastic. You know, I have fun, and I do design logos and kind of put everything together. I'm the CEO, the CFO. I do pretty much everything. Corky is the director of cocktails and entertainment.
He's the logo.
I'm on the business end, but it's a fun thing.
So you know, you mentioned the tech, you handle, I'm assuming, all the website, the back end to that. Because of your background, and you talked about how you were part of something, a business that you own called Dr. Wireless, do you have tips for people? I would love to kind of end this with like some great tips for the holidays on how to kind of avoid hackers or anything of that nature.
Funny you should ask, because this time of year is the absolute most dangerous time of the year for everybody. I do have some tips, and the first tip I would give is anytime somebody sends you a link to click on, do not click on it unless you know it's coming from a friend of yours. If it's coming from eBay, PayPal, a bank, an institution, and they want you to click on it, do not click on it. I always recommend, if you have an issue with Bank of America, go to bankofamerica.com, launch the browser, fresh. You do not want to click on a link. And the reason is there's so many links that are spoofed that they're not who they're claiming to be. And everything these days is about trying to capture your social security number, your personal information, your banking information. The other thing I would suggest for people is this: do not use debit cards unless you absolutely have to. The problem with a debit card, unlike a credit card, is once the money's drawn, it ain't coming back. There is no recourse. You can't contact your bank and have your bank charge back the other party. It's gone. So a lot of people do use debit cards. I definitely don't use them unless I have to. And the other problem is you don't want to insert a debit card into a gas station pump that has a scanner somebody installed that will take all the info. And if you do use a debit card, hide the PIN number at least when you put it in. So the other thing is about phone calls. We talked about this briefly. I no longer answer my phone. And the reason is if I see somebody calling me, I'll answer it. The beauty of cell phones these days is a lot of companies like T-Mobile, Verizon, they have features that will identify scams. And T-Mobile will automatically have my phone not ring. It won't ring. It'll get sent to voicemail if somebody calls me who is not in my contact book. So I recommend using features like that. If somebody's in your contact book, phone rings, you answer it. If somebody's not in your contact book, my phone rings twice, sends it to voicemail. And generally it's a 3-second voicemail because they hung up. They didn't get me live. Generally somebody's trying to sell me something or somebody's trying to scam me with something. And so few times people legitimately call me that want to talk to me. And if they do, they call me or they'll text me. So I tell people a lot of bad things can happen when you answer that phone. Okay. A lot of scammers, and that's the door to get in, answering the phone. The other thing I recommend is be very cautious when you insert any kind of USB storage device or any kind of USB plug that you stick in. Maybe it's got content on it. A lot of times people used to give you, somebody gave me one that had languages. You want to learn Spanish, French, English. Here's a USB that has free, I forgot which one it was, but it was one of those things you have to pay. It was free. So they, generally if something sounds too good to be true, most of the time it is. It's like that's the other thing, the lottery. You get something that says you just won $180,000 in the UK lottery.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't play the UK lottery, you didn't win the UK lottery. So little common sense, when you win something and it sounds, and you didn't play, that could be a tip off that maybe it's a scam. But in closing, the main thing is the biggest way these guys get you is out of emotion. They'll tell you that you got hacked, or they want to get you either mad. They want to get your emotions fired up, because when your emotions are fired up, you're not thinking clearly, and that's when you're most vulnerable to get hacked. So if you want to avoid the bad guys, don't click on suspicious links. Don't answer the phone unless you know who it is, and just be cautious. And trust me, nobody wants to have to shut down their credit and call Experian and TransUnion. I was hacked about 8 years ago. And the other thing I strongly recommend, double authentication on everything. And what that means is, if you want to buy something, every time I buy something on a credit card, my bank a lot of times will send me an email saying, hey, I just got an eBay request for $850. Is this you? Is it legit? I put Y for yes, purchase goes through. Same thing about opening bank accounts. People will try to open up bank accounts in your name if they have your info. And if you have a lock, on that, double authentication can't be done. So these are the little simple things, and it's not fun stuff like surfing is, but
these are important tips. These are super important tips. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Joel. Yeah, no,
Right.
thank you. Bluemangosurf.com, all that information to buy products, cool surfing products, calendars, all that kind of stuff will all be there. I'll put all the links where we can have it. Thank you for these like holiday tips. That means a lot to like not get hacked or to not, lose your life. So I really appreciate those things so much. So thank you so much, Joel.
Happy holidays.
Okay, see you everybody. Hey everybody, guess what? I wrote an illustrated children's book. I am super excited for this. It's a great book, so please support, please buy, please do whatever you feel like doing. The Giraffe and the Lion, find it anywhere. Thanks everybody.